point on this is going to be, you will see these slides in the lab practical. And so when you do, I've actually shown you some of these already under tissue. So you got to be careful what I ask. Am I asking you about a tissue? Or am I asking you about the skin? Okay. So like for example, we saw this before. These spaces here are artifact. It's where it's kind of broken loose, you know. But if I, as a tissue, if I ask you what this is, you would tell me what? Stratified, squamous, keratinized. So this slide stains for keratin, okay? You see it only in the skin. The outer layers are real flat and dead, and I'll have to show you the difference between that and non-keratinized. Non-keratinized, you don't have all those flat dead layers, and you'll see nuclei. Now notice the pink area here doesn't stain blue because the keratin hasn't come out of the cells yet, okay? They're still in there. Let me find the spot on this slide I want to show you. There we go. This looks a little better here, kind of all together now. So epidermis, as far as layers, if I ask you what main layer of the skin this would be epidermis. This down here would be dermis, okay, right here. Now I'm going to focus down on this a little bit so we can get a better feeling for the layers, okay. You definitely can see this dark layer right here with a little light above it here, and then this very base layer. So this very base layer, I'm going to magnify it, is stratum basale. This all here would be stratum spinosum. This dark with the granules would be stratum granulosum. This here, a little light colored stratum lucidum. Then everything else stratum corneum. Okay. So let me focus on this bottom here for you a little bit. So this single layer of cells is where all the other cells are coming from, and they're dividing, and that's the stratum basale or stratum germinatum. As soon as you get above that here, this is stratum spinosum, and you kind of get a hint, and I'll show you better in a little bit. But there's kind of a hint that there's, between the cells, there's like little spines maybe. You know, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see them a little bit here. I'll show you a better slide with those in a second. And then if you look up here, you can definitely see the granules in that stratum granulosum. Okay, so those are the layers on this slide here. Okay, now dermis, you definitely can see these dermal papilla. Okay, and so really the papillary dermis would be like this area right in here. And everything else below is going to be reticular dermis. And if you look at this reticular dermis here, this pink is collagen fibers, kind of all mixed up, okay? It's a little spread out more than usual. I'll show you another one where it's tighter. But basically, if I pointed at this and asked you what tissue is this, what would you tell me? Yeah, see how we can get confused real quick? Jumping back to tissue. Okay, is that epithelium? No. So, but epithelium's sticking to it higher up, so definitely that's what? General class. Connective, yeah. And it's a dense connective, and so does it look like it's really nice and regular or irregular? Irregular. So that's dense irregular. So you might see it even magnified like this, okay? That's dense irregular, okay? I'll show you a better slide where it's a little more denser looking. It kind of got spread out. If you go deeper here, and this is where you'll find some good, let me go along here somewhere and find it, so I know it's in here. Yeah, there we go. What's this here? Adipose. Adipose, yeah. But as far as layer of the skin, what is it? Subcutaneous or hypodermis. So this is a good place to find adipose. And again, if you see that I got a skin slide there, be careful what I'm asking. I might point to this and ask, what tissue is that? And then that's going to be adipose. Okay, so you got to be careful when you answer those questions. Here, I'm going to show you. This is also thick skin. Okay. Now the difference here is this is that again that epidermis. If I'm asking you what tissue that is, and I blow it up a little bit, and you look at it, again, what tissue would this be? Epithelium, so what type? Stratified squamous. Yeah, it's your skin, stratified squamous. Now, this is where people get confused. They go, well, how do I know if it's got keratin or not? Well, this doesn't stain for keratin, so it's actually the same color. But see how these are all flat cells. You don't see any nuclei in them.
Right.
And because they're dead. Because once you get past this granular layer in here, the keratin comes out and the cells die, and the keratin covers the cells. And they're real flat. They're like little shields then, you know, of keratin, which is this protein stuff. One thing I want to do is blow this up for you because it's the spinosum really looks, you can really see what we mean by spinosum. So looking at this, there you can see it. See it? See the little spines between the cells?
Yeah.
So that's the stratum spinosum. This base layer here again, stratum basale. You don't see a real good granulosum here. It just doesn't show up, or a lucidum. Okay, it just doesn't show it. As far as that dense irregular, see, doesn't that look a lot tighter? Okay, but the collagen's kind of going every which way, so that's dense irregular. Again, this is where you find a good dense irregular, is in that reticular dermis. Okay. Last slide I want to show you here, just so that you can say, okay, now I understand. Remember, skin comes in what two main types?
Thick and
thin, right? Just think, you know, some of you, oh wait, this is esophagus. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so this is thin skin, okay? And there's your epidermis there. Not that thick, is it? You know, it just really isn't that thick. And so this is dermis here. Not that thick, but again, see these flat cells? See how you don't see any nuclei in them?
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as a tissue, it's a stratified squamous, it's keratinized. Now, with that in mind, looking at that, while I got you here, let me show you a stratified squamous, non-keratinized. See the difference?
Look at all those nuclei.
So again, see, this is non-keratinized. This is all stratified squamous. This is in your esophagus. See how the nuclei are coming out all the way to the edge there? But those are all still flat cells. So that's the difference between the keratin and non-keratinized. Okay? So once you get into your mouth and your esophagus, you don't have that keratin anymore because it's a moist mucous membrane at that time. And so those cells don't die. They don't secrete keratin, and they're basically, you don't have as many layers in there, you know. So again, you can take a look at these, and what you're going to do now, basically, what I've done is I've thrown everything at you before your test. So I'm not going to show you anything new in the lab between now and your test. So you've got the rest of today to work on tissue slides, work on anything you want to. While you do that, I'll have your quizzes graded so you can take them home with you. But I will throw slides up there, the connective tissue, the muscle, and I'll say, okay, this is this one, okay? And some of them are a little bit hard to find, and I'll walk you through those. And as you're working, you having a problem, grab me, I'll come and help you. And you're going to have this lab to do this. We're going to do this on Tuesday. Tuesday, I'm actually going to come in Sunday and set the microscopes up. So on each microscope, you'll have a label telling you what it is, and I'll have it there focused at the power we're going to probably test you with an arrow pointing at it if we have to. That way you can go along from scope to scope and say, okay, now I know what that looks like for the test. And we'll do it that way.
Did you say the tutor is on Fridays from 10 to 12?
Yeah, he's here 10 to 12. See, right here, you guys, right here is your tutor schedule. These two right here. Here he is. Justin's here on Friday, 10 to 12. If you want other free drop-in tutoring sessions, you go over there with 2 or 3 of you, you drop in, a lot of times they give you free tutoring. You know, so here's the schedules for this right here. They're also posted over there. Okay. So we okay, you guys? Any questions on this stuff? Okay, I'll let you get to work.